July 12th, 1943. A pale gray dawn crawls over the fields near Prokhorovka, south of the Kursk salient. Mist hangs low over earth, chewed apart by tank tracks, over black pillars of smoke from the burned-out tanks of the last few days. The wind carries the stink of burned metal, oil, and human flesh. You sit hunched inside your T-34, back pressed against cold steel, ears still ringing from the engine behind you. You are a driver in the 5th Guards Tank Army under General Rotmistrov. On the map, Prokhorovka is a small railway station some 80 kilometers from Kursk. Today, this little dot is where steel meets steel and history turns. In the dark fighting compartment, your crew talk in low voices. Up by the gun, Sergei, the gunner, runs his fingers along the sight, touching little scratches like lucky charms. Yura, the loader, cradles a 76.2mm shell back to the wall, eyes half closed but not asleep. Metal ticks and creaks around you as the T-34 cools from the night march. Above, Lieutenant Alexei stands half out of the turret, binoculars pressed to his face, watching the west as the sky slowly turns from black to dirty blue. Driver! Gunner, he calls down, voice hoarse. When they say go, we don't stop in the open. If we die rolling. Got it? You nod, though he can't see you. You know what's out there. For weeks, you've heard the names in every briefing and rumor.
They are right
Tigers,
behind you.
Panthers, heavy Tigers with thick, arrogant fronts. New Panthers, fast, sharp, with long 75mm guns. Men say a tiger's nose laughs at your shells, that a panther can burn you before you even see it. Maybe it's all true. Maybe not. Your hands are cold anyway, slick with sweat. Last night, crawling into position, the horizon never really got dark. Not from lightning, but from artillery flashes and Katyusha rockets clawing red lines across the sky. The ground shook as if something enormous was turning under the fields. You tried to sleep sitting between gearboxes and ammo racks. Every time you closed your eyes, you saw a turret lifting off a hull in a pillar of flame. On the other side of the line, in another steel box, another crew is waiting. Their commander is Karl, a young Panzer lieutenant in an SS Panzer division. He sits inside a brand new Panther. It smells of paint and oil and hot metal. On the glacis, someone has painted a leaping black cat. His gloved hand rests on it for a moment, feeling the cold under the paint. A month ago, he was still at a training ground, shooting at wooden silhouettes, driving around neat obstacles. Now, Soviet artillery and Katyusha rockets are plowing up the ground around Prokhorovka, and his company is part of the push that is supposed to break through. He doesn't think much about arrows on maps. He thinks about ranges and armor angles, about whether the long 75mm gun will penetrate at this distance or that, about whether Franz, his driver, will miss the next mine. For now, the sounds in his headset are the same as yours. Idling engines, clipped radio voices, somebody coughing in an open mic. 0545, your headset crackles. Standby, alert 1. All crews start engines. Ready to advance. Alexei drops into the turret and slams the hatch. The world shrinks. A weak green bulb glows. Thin slits show a smear of gray outside. The V2 diesel coughs, catches, growls. The hull starts to tremble. Exhaust and warm oil seep into the air.
We need to secure
Listen
the
up,
breach now.
Alexei says, bracing his feet. Stay in line.
Driver,
Don't
advance the grid
bunch up.
coordinate 49er.
Don't try to be a
Gunner,
hero.
load high
You want to
explosive.
live through today? Watch the tank in front of you. Sergei gives a short, dry chuckle. I was hoping for something inspiring, Comrade Lieutenant.
Target acquired.
Here's
Fire
inspiring,
at will.
Alexei answers.
This is the line.
If you screw up,
we
we
hold
all
it,
fry.
or we die
That's
here.
it. No more words. The engine does the talking now. On the German side, Karl hears his own orders through the static.
Sie kommen über die Brücke.
Alle
Wir halten
Panzer
sie nicht.
bereit machen zum Angriff. Abstand halten.
einsteigen.
Minenfelder
Motoren
voraus.
starten.
Tiger voraus.
Forward.
All tanks. Prepare to
Advance
attack.
and spread
Keep
out.
spacing. Minefields ahead. Tigers in the lead. In front, giant tigers roll forward, their armor thick enough that men believe no Soviet gun can crack their noses at range. Panthers will work the sides, fast and hard, once the way is open.
Swing us around.
Karl
Bearing
leans toward the
270.
intercom. Franz, keep her moving. No sudden stops. I don't want to sit still for their
Contact
gunners.
front!
Jawohl,
We need to move faster,
comes
they're
the answer.
gaining on us!
I like breathing. It's not a joke, exactly. Just something to say instead of, I'm scared. 08 no. The world gets bright, not from the sun. Soviet guns fire together. The earth under you jumps. Through your slit, you see pillars of soil and smoke leaping up. A second later, the howl of Katyusha rockets rips overhead. Katyusha! Katyusha! Someone shouts on the net. Rockets fall on the far tree line, where you know German armor has been forming up. To you, the noise is rough but comforting. Your side hits first. To Karl, the first salvo feels like a house falling down around the tank.
Mayday, we need
The
immediate
German net
support.
erupts in
Get us outta
overlapping
here.
cries. Hit! Fire! Medics! And curses chopped off midword. Then, as always, the shock fades, and routine returns in a darker shape.
Ziel erfassen.
German batteries
Feuer frei.
answer. Heavy shells start walking across Soviet positions. Above, dark dots grow into aircraft. Flak bursts blink around them like ugly flowers. You sit in the dark and wait for your turn. On paper, the plan is simple. Infantry and anti-tank guns bleed the German spearheads dry and slow them. Then tank armies like yours come in and hit back. On paper, nothing slips, nothing stalls, nothing panics. Out here, you can already taste how much paper lies. In the days before Prokhorovka, you've seen what Operation Citadel really is. German spearheads biting into the Kursk bulge from north and south. Each step forward bought in fire and blood, then fought over again. You've driven past T-34s with their turrets lying beside them like kicked-off helmets, past Panzer IVs and a Tiger stuck in a minefield, beaten so long by Soviet guns that their armor is peeled and torn. At night, when the guns quiet just enough, other sounds creep in. A shout from a crater, someone calling for water, for Mama. Sometimes in Russian, sometimes in German.
So
In the
kalt.
dark, it all blurs into the same
Kann das
kind
nicht mehr
of
ertragen.
fear.
They said
Last
the
night,
target is beyond the
before
ridge.
turning toward
We better
Prokhorovka,
move fast.
the
The
battalion
blood is getting
commander
worse.
called the crews in by a muddy track. No big flags, no music. Just a truck hood for a table and a map held down with stones. He tapped a spot with a dirty finger. Tomorrow, here,
Attack
5th Guards
immediately.
tank, straight
Follow my
at their
direction
SS tanks.
And do not
They
stop
think they're
until
close
the
to breaking
objective is
through.
secured.
He looked up. His face was gray with dust and no sleep. If they get through,
You understand
said.
the objective.
our infantry gets it in
Failure
the
is
back.
not an option
Our
tonight.
cities get it later.
We move
So we
in
stop
silence.
them here. That's it. Someone in the group muttered, They say their tigers can't be stopped. The commander rubbed his eyes with thumb and knuckle. They said a lot of things at Stalingrad, too. He folded the map. Go check your tracks. Grab an hour of sleep if you can. No speeches, just work. On the German side, Karl has his own nights. He's watched Panthers tow back, burned and hollow. He's heard familiar call signs go silent. In a small notebook, he's drawn rough outlines of Soviet tanks, sketch where he thinks the weak spots are, written a few crooked Russian words. Voda, Ruki, Verk, water, hands up. He doesn't know if that will save him if the tank burns and he ends up on the wrong end of a Soviet rifle. But it's something to hang on to when the engine's cut and only the night remains. Airweight 30. You think the barrage can't get heavier? It does. The tank hums like a drumskin.
Status
The
report.
air
Do
in
you
your
read me?
lungs shakes. Then a new voice cuts into the net, loud and rough through the static.
под обстрелом!
Rotmistrov himself. Stal, 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 steel, steel, steel! All units, attack! Hold on, Alexei shouts. Full throttle! You push the lever forward, the T-34 jumps. Tracks grab torn soil. The Prokhorovka field opens up in front of you. A rolling mess of craters, smoke, wrecks. From the slopes on both sides, T-34s pour down, dozens, then more. On many turrets, guards infantry crouch, clinging to handholds, faces pale under grime. Muzzle flashes spark among them. You don't have room in your head for Tigers or Panthers now. You think about the tank in front of you, about not climbing onto its tail if it stops, about not sliding sideways into a crater full of burning wreck. The radio is a storm. Broken orders, half words, screams, someone praying on an open channel until another voice swears and tells him to shut up. Alexander filters what you need. Left a bit, keep distance, don't slow, whatever happens up there. On the far side, Karl hauls himself up to his hatch and raises his binoculars. For a second, everything else drops away. The far slope is moving. Not the ground. The tanks. Soviet armor streaming down, a dirty green wave. Sunlight flashes on wet plates and rounded turrets. Dust and smoke trail behind them. Panzerkeil! He yells into the mic. Form wedge. Hold position. Fire at will. Tiger 88s and Panther 75s open up. The space between the two forces becomes a furnace. The leading T-34s in your wave start to burst, one after another. Turrets lift, hang for a heartbeat, and crash down. Flames punch out through hatches and vision ports.
Tiger!
Tiger, front!
Front!
Sergei shouts. Range 700. Nose is too thick.
Target!
Take his
Dead
legs.
ahead!
Alexei snaps.
Fire
Tracks
immediately!
only.
Do not...
You feel the tank yaw. The gun bucks. Through smoke, you catch a glimpse of the Tiger's track exploding. The big beast stumbles and stops, still firing, but rooted. You swing around a T-34 lying on its side, burning hard. The black shapes on top are no longer men, just outlines. The smell that hits you is thick. Fuel, rubber, singed cloth, and something behind, all that you don't want to name. Distance collapses. You are closing so fast, there's no time for careful math. The sight becomes your whole world. How big the enemy tank looks. How fast it grows. Ahead, a Panther is busy with another Soviet tank. Its turret is turned away, showing its side. Panther, left side, 300? Sergei barks. Brake, Alexei orders. The T-34 slams to a halt. The shot goes out. You see the tracer slam into the Panther's skirt, just above the tracks. Fire erupts under its flank. Smoke starts pouring from its rear.
Help!
The turret stops mid-swing.
It's burning!
A figure
Help
drags
me!
himself out of the hatch, coat on fire, falls out of sight. You barely have time to register it. One moment they were fighting, the next, they're gone. For Carl, that Panther was on his right. 1 second, its engine noise is steady through his hull, its commander's voice calm on the
Target
net.
locked! Stand
The
by
next,
for main
there's a
cannon
flash,
fire.
a crack, and the radio explodes in static, and a scream that cuts off like a wire. New target, 12 o'clock! Carl shouts, throat dry. Range 600. In those few seconds, you and he are aimed straight at each other. You see a Panther coming through the smoke, its plates dirty but still smooth, its long gun turning toward you. In the hatch, a man stands up to his waist. Helmet. Stubble. Eyes that look like they haven't slept in days. Through his sight, Carl sees a T-34 charging, mud caked on its front, a red flag snapping on its antenna. Through his dirty glass, he sees a face at a Soviet vision, slit for half a heartbeat. Just a flash of eyes. Range 300. A Soviet shell lands just in front of Carl's tank. It doesn't hit him. It hits the ground. Earth and rock slam into the hull. The Panther jolts. Otto's sight jumps. His shot goes early, low, chewing a trench in front of your tracks instead of through your armor. Your own gun fires. The T-34 bucks. Your shell whistles just over the Panther's turret and vanishes into the murk behind. Inside both tanks, there's the same flash of cold, that sense that this was the one, the shot that meant everything, and the same hollow crash when it turns out to be a miss. Then other shapes crowd your slits. Other targets scream for attention. The battle grabs you by the throat and drags you both away from that near collision. By late morning, the Prokhorovka field looks like a scrapyard. No crops, no grass, just churned mud and metal. Tanks lie at every angle. Some still burn. Some just smoke. Some sit quiet and blackened, like huge animals frozen mid-step. Tracks are twisted. Barrels are bent. Helmets lie in puddles. Bodies are scattered. Some still in their tanks. Some half buried by blasts. Engine noise is rarer now. In its place, you hear single shots, the pop of ammunition cooking off in wrecks, the hiss of leaks, the low, broken sounds of wounded men. Your battle ends when something slams into the T-34 and doesn't quite kill it. Shrapnel hammers the hull. The tank shudders, coughs, and then the gears grind into nothing.
Give me the order,
Transmission's
Commander!
dead,
It won't turn!
you shout.
We're going down!
She's not moving. Fine, Alexei says. She'll be a bunker. Out! You climb out into air that tastes of smoke and metal. The sky is a pale disk, seen through a dirty lens. You drop into a shallow dip beside the hull with Sergei and Yura. Rifles ready. The side of the T-34 at your back is warm, solid. From there, you see the battlefield at ground level. A Tiger stands nose down in a crater, like it tried to dig its way out. A T-34 lies upside down, one track still slowly turning. A Panther burns with a low, steady flame in its engine bay. Not far away, a gray-clad figure drags himself away from that Panther, leaving a dark trail. His hands claw at the ground. He isn't armed. He isn't going anywhere. Your finger tightens on the trigger anyway, out of habit. "Leave him," Sergei mutters. "Look at his leg. The bullet would be a favor." You keep the rifle up for a moment longer, then lower it. The man rolls into his back, stares up at the sky. His lips move. You can't hear the words. A name, maybe. Or nothing at all. A minute later, he stops moving. Further out, German tanks are pulling back in ones and twos under a curtain of smoke. Some make it away. Others stop halfway and don't start again. Soviet guns still snap at them, but the fury of the morning has drained away, leaving something slower, more tired. Later, a trickle of gray and field green appears between the wrecks. German prisoners, tankers, infantry, stragglers from units that barely exist on paper now. Karl is among them. His Panther hit a mine. The blast ripped off a track and tore through the rear. Fire chased them inside. Friends dragged him out through the driver's hatch. Ernst didn't make it. Franz probably didn't either. That part is a blur of heat and smoke and shouting. Now, Karl limps on a makeshift crutch, a bent length of track pin. His trouser leg is dark with blood. His pockets are empty. The notebook with his sketches and half-learned Russian words is ash inside the wreck. A Soviet squad moves to meet the prisoners. Their uniforms are as filthy as the Germans. Their eyes look the same, too old for their faces. One Russian levels a submachine gun at Karl's chest. The two men stare at each other for a heartbeat. The Russian's finger rests on the guard, not the trigger. He jerks his chin toward the rear. "ID," he says. "Go." Karl doesn't know the word, but he understands the motion. He nods once and limps on. You watch from behind your dead T-34. To you, they're small now, not giant steel beasts, just tired men walking with their hands on their heads. One prisoner stumbles and drops to his knees, breathing hard. The column keeps moving. No one rushes to help. You hesitate, then climb up onto the hull and hop down on the other side, closer. The wounded German looks up. His face is young, streaked with soot. There's a long cut across his cheek. His eyes fall on the canteen at your belt. "Further," he croaks. "Water." You stand there for a second that feels longer than the whole day into battle. Your throat is desert dry. Your tongue tastes of smoke. Then you unclip the canteen and hold it out. He grabs it with shaking hands, drinks in short gulps, coughs, drinks again, then pushes it back toward you without quite looking at your face. You nod once and walk back to the tank. Sergei raises an eyebrow as you drop into the dip again. "Making friends now?" "Shut up," you say. There's no anger in it, just tiredness. He shrugs and looks away. There's enough hate left on this field without borrowing more. By evening, the worst is over. The guns are still firing somewhere, but not like before. Smoke hangs low over the field. The sun sinks behind a dark line of trees, a red ball in dirty air. Bits of news leak down the chain. The big German thrust here has stalled. Their SS Panzer Corps hasn't broken through. To the north, around the other side of the salient, their attacks are slowing. Soon, they say, it'll be your turn to attack. New operations with grand names. Right now, that means nothing. Right now, all that matters is that your tank is dead. But you are not. You sit with your back against the T-34's flank. The steel that was supposed to protect you becomes a wall to lean on. Around
He's not
you,
gonna make it if we
stretcher
don't get
bearers
cover.
pick their
Look
way
at him.
between
We can't carry
wrecks.
him alone.
A
Johnson,
medic is
KL,
arguing with
Miller,
an officer
ST,
about
Nichols,
who gets
AR,
loaded first.
Miller.
Someone is reading names from a crumpled list, the syllables falling into the mud. Out on the field, the line of prisoners snakes toward a collection point. One of the limping figures could be Carl. You can't be sure. Distance and smoke turn everyone into smudges. For a moment, you think one of them looks back over his shoulder at the place where his Panther burned. Then you realize you've been doing the same thing, turning to look at your own tank again and again, as if to check it's still there, that this really happened. Years later, when your hair is white and your back aches even sitting still, people will talk about Kursk. They'll say it was the largest tank battle in history. They'll say Prokhorovka was the great clash of steel against steel. They'll talk about Operation Citadel, about salients and counters, about thousands of tanks and tens of thousands of casualties. They'll move little arrows over clean maps. You'll nod at some parts, frown at others. But your own Kursk will not be lines on paper. For you, Kursk will always be the green glow of a tiny bulb inside a T-34 before dawn. Rotmistrov's steel, 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 cracking in your headset. The moment a tiger's track blew apart under your shell. The smell that clung to your clothes for days, no matter how hard you scrubbed. It will be the weight of a warm canteen leaving your hand and landing in someone else's, fingers shaking just as much as yours. And somewhere in that tangle of memories, there will be a single heartbeat in the middle of the storm, when you and a man in a Panther were aimed straight at each other, and both shots missed. In that instant, steel and chance chose other men instead. Kursk, to you, is that knowledge that you are alive not because you were purer or braver or better, but because on that day, in that place, steel and fire simply passed you by. On a field where steel met steel and flesh was caught in between, history turned, and somehow you were still there when the smoke began to clear.